This series on Netflix, it has the touch. It has the power. Alright, so Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Chapter 1 is what's on Netflix right now. It's Chapter 1 of three chapters that will make a trilogy, but we just have the first chapter right now, and that chapter is called Siege. It's made up of 6 half-hour-long episodes, and yeah, it's not your dad's Transformers from when he was a kid, anyway. It's your dad's Transformers now, or it's not made for kids. It's a little more mature, which I enjoy, I like, I appreciate. It's not like there's a lot of blood, or it's not like there's any blood in this series. It's not like they curse, or it's not like it has bad language, but it deals with death, betrayal, you know. Then again, the Transformers movie that came out back in the 80s was made for kids, and Transformers died in there. But there's something about this series that it just feels a bit grittier, and I appreciate that. It is truly a Transformers for youth and people who are in their 40s or 50s now that grew up with Transformers back in the day. Anyhow, War for Cybertron is a new series on Netflix right now. It's 6 half-an-hour-long episodes, like I just said, and it's some pretty solid Transformer adventuring, I'll be honest with you. It's funny, because War for Cybertron was a video game that came out some years ago. Never played it. I don't know if it's based off of that, or if that's just, you know, what you call Transformers adventures that are on Cybertron. For me, the Transformers that I hold near and dear are the original series. That does include the original movie, and Beast Wars. I thought that was a great step for Transformers. I had a good time with that. One is, this adventure is in fact on Cybertron. It follows the Autobots, the Decepticons. You know the gist. They're at war with each other. If you know, we all know that about Transformers. This is what it is. And this is actually early on in the Transformers lore, so one of the things that I was like, hey, what are you doing? What is happening? Kind of laid it to rest. One of the Autobots, Alita, she started back-talking Optimus Prime in front of the troops. That's insubordination right there, but yeah, I mean, they totally fucked. That's why those romances never work. But this is early on in the Transformers lore, so okay, Optimus Prime isn't, you know, he's not robot Jesus yet. Also, Bumblebee comes into it. He's not even an Autobot. He's just kind of a nomad, which I liked about this series. It shows that Autobots, Decepticons, those are sides of a war, but not every Transformer is that. Some of them are just kind of out there doing their thing. So whereas it was kind of, it gave me pause and hesitation to see this Optimus Prime that was a little more doubtful of himself, I actually did enjoy the complexity it brought to Optimus Prime, and I totally understood where they were coming from with it, because he's younger Optimus Prime. You don't just start out as a great leader, you get there. And I was digging the overall execution of this in terms of visuals, audio, like the animation style. I dug the animation style. Don't know what it's called, whereas you know how it is. Everything has a title. Everything has a name. I'm sure there is a specific name for this animation style. I just call it the love child of CGI and cell shading. Like if CGI and cell shading had a kid, it would be this animation style in this Transformers series. Also, the music has that pseudo-Tron Legacy vibe going on with it. I just felt the sounds and the visuals really complemented the world of Transformers. As did the story and the characters. Not only is Optimus Prime younger, not only is Bumblebee just coming into this whole mess, but I really dug how it showed that both sides see themselves as the good guys. I mean, it goes without say. And there's always been a little more complexity when it comes to the Decepticon side of things, at least in the original series for me. All right, you take Megatron, and then you have Soundwave on this side and Starscream on this side. Soundwave, very loyal to Megatron. Starscream, loyal until he ever gets the opportunity to knife Megatron in the back, and then he's totally gonna take it, like he kinda did in the movie. I mean, the animated movie. You got the touch, you get that one. So although you see some tension among the Decepticons, that was always still on the spectrum of villainy, you know? It's like, well, that's what they do because they're all bad guys, and you get it, bad guys do bad guy things. But with this Transformers story on the Autobot side, not all of the Autobots agree with how to go about this war. On the Decepticon side, not all the Decepticons agree with Megatron. One in particular kind of reminded me of General Leo from Final Fantasy VI, where it's like, he's cool, but just where the lines are drawn, he's on the Decepticon side of things. So it's not just good and evil. You have true neutral, neutral good, neutral evil, chaotic good, chaotic neutral, chaotic evil, lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil. If they're not all represented here, more are represented than I thought would be. I took that test, true neutral. It's funny because I wasn't always true neutral, but just kind of grew to be that way. I feel like there's like a bullet point checklist of things I just liked in this series. Like I also like the fact that the Autobots are clearly the underpowered ones. They're this little rebellion. They do not have the backing that the Decepticons have. The Decepticons, you can tell, they just have this grand palace where Megatron makes speeches. I don't know what their economy's like, but they clearly have a better stranglehold on Cybertron than the Autobots have. Autobots are hiding out in this little junk ship. They're just praying that they don't get found, you know? So clearly the Autobots are the underdogs. So not only did I dig the fact that the show illustrates that every side sees themselves as the good guys, and not every soldier on any given side necessarily agree with their leader because they're on the same side of their leader, but also it illustrates that it's not just if you win, it's how you win that matters. You know, a lot of us people, we get lost in the possibility of winning. You know, it's like, ooh, I really want to win that thing, but how you win does matter. Sometimes it's better to lose in the sense that you can lose with your head held high rather than win as a scumbag. All in all, I really dug this story. It's like, you remember the beginning of Bumblebee? And that beginning of Bumblebee is the best Transformers movie we've ever gotten. I mean, best live action Transformers movie we've ever gotten anyway. I'll phrase it like that. It's like you take that, put a little cell shading on it, and now you have a 3-hour movie, because it's not episodic. It's not like, oh, half-hour adventure here, half-hour adventure here, half-hour adventure there. No, it's one whole story. So these 6 episodes come out to about a 3-hour movie. You have yourselves a 3-hour movie that really is the flavor of that beginning Cybertron scene in Bumblebee. I know that as sure as this. Wheeljack's voice in this series is totally modeled after Rocket Raccoon. It's true. Or if this is how Wheeljack sounded in another Transformers series that came out before Guardians of the Galaxy, shit, I guess Rocket ripped him off. In any case, I dug season 1, or chapter 1 as they're calling it. I'm interested to see where it goes after this. I hope they don't screw it up. Probably because I've become increasingly worried as to where the Castlevania series is going to go, and if they stick that landing. I really hope they do, but still, I'm concerned. But it being a trilogy, I'd like to think that they started this with a clear vision as to where they're going to go. So there is that. I could have gone for chapter 1. I could have gone for Siege being a little longer. I was so intrigued. I wanted it to keep going. Guess that's not a bad thing. Leave them wanting more, right? Well, I want more. So I'm looking forward to chapter 2. All right, so Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, chapter 1, Siege. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.